Rhys. Oh, Rhys. You're definitely something special, and you always have been. I mean, we've literally never had a dull moment together. Especially over quarantine, we've learned to tolerate each other just a tad more. You even taught me how to play Fortnite. A couple of weeks ago, I was upset about who knows what, but all that I remember from that day was that my little brother came in to check on me. It's not every day that you see a 12-year-old boy asking their annoying teenage sister how they're doing when they're crying. But that simple sentence truly turned my whole day around. Yes, my brother and I will steal each other's phones, fight for who gets shotgun in the car, and even get to the point where we wrestle it out, but we always find our way back and make up. The nights when we are banging on the shower walls to make music, or the times when we're snuggling together with Wheatley, confirm that you are a very special, one-of-a-kind brother. And as I once said, he's my best friend, Mama. Mazel tov to the Rhys man, and thank you all for joining my family and me today to celebrate my diligent, passionate, and crazy baby brother. Mazel tov. That was a tough act to follow. I think Rhys gets his fast speech from me. I'll try to slow down. Thank you. Welcome to my family room. This is not exactly what we had planned, but that's okay. The sun doesn't always shine, as we know, and my family has a terrible habit of having special occasions in nasty weather. But nonetheless, we always weather the storm. Can't cry. And to add to the fun, you might not all know this, but you went and broke your foot last week. Yeah. But all the while, you have kept your positivity as you always do. Glass half full attitude that you definitely inherited from yours truly. First, thank you to my family who is here in person, and to all of you who are tuned in on Zoom for joining us on this very special day to celebrate my Rhys. Whether you've known Rhys his whole life, or you just met him yesterday, you have probably been sucked in by his smile. So let's take a little trip down memory lane to May 4th, 2008, your birthday. It was a beautiful day in Chicago. We were so excited to bring you home, and then, well, you cried for 365 days straight. Day and night, spitting up all over us in every room in the house, allergic to every formula that we tried. You never slept, you barely ate, nothing made you happy. I started to wonder what kind of return policy you came with. But then magically you started to smile on your first birthday. Your Uncle Eric tickled you to the point you were crying with laughter, and truly you have not stopped smiling since that day. A friend of mine recently said, "You have the smile that makes everyone else want to smile." What a brilliant statement, and I couldn't have said it better myself. Literally, everything you do with a smile. You can smile during your tour portrait. But also with so much passion and enthusiasm. Whether you are studying for a test, rattling off sports trivia, playing hockey, golf, soccer, lacrosse, or even eating a delicious steak, you always, and I mean always, give it your all. So it came as no surprise when you began your journey to becoming a bar mitzvah 2 years ago, that you embraced it and you owned it. While you learned your prayers over Zoom this past year, it was actually so nice for me because I would listen into your sessions with Alicia behind the closed door. And every week you impressed me even more to the point that Dad and I thought we might have a rabbi in the family someday. Rhys, you are everyone's friend. Not just a friend to your buddies from school and camp, but to everyone that you meet. You love chatting it up with friends' parents, coaches, or even a guy you meet on the golf course. You are always making friends wherever you go, and you are always looking out for the other guy and making sure everyone around you is happy, even me. While all of us here tonight are beaming with pride, watching you fulfill this milestone, I want to also acknowledge your grandfathers who are joining us here in spirit. You embody them both in such different and fantastic ways. Your Grandpa Joe was quite the chef and loved to eat great food. Even though you never met him, you certainly have found your way around the kitchen. You're the only boy I know who asked for a Vitamix for his 10th birthday, which your Grammy got you. And you have perfected the egg sandwich that you have literally been eating every single day at lunchtime for the last 15 months. And while you only knew your Poppy for 6 incredible years, somehow you managed to pick up all of his nuances. You tell a joke with the same wit, you sit with your legs crossed in the same way, and certainly you have that same beautiful golf swing. But your charm is all your own. You have this unique power to create happiness wherever you go, and your fan base keeps getting bigger and bigger. So keep on playing to the crowd, smiling at your opponents, and staying out of the penalty box, and nothing will stop you. I love you, and I'm so proud of you.
Thank you all for coming today. Not exactly what we expected, but we're about flexibility, right? Before I start, I want to thank the person who I leaned on like crazy during the planning of this event, who always knows just what to say, has great taste, and keeps our family in line through thick and thin. Mia, what would I do? We all know who's running the show here. To say that the added stress of the weather, the broken foot, and the cicadas handled well would be sugarcoating it a bit. But here's the deal, Rhys. This is important. You get your passion and your feistiness for her mom. And I've said it many times, and I want to say it again. Our great family only runs because of my awesome wife, who I love with all my heart. And her freaking out about this is entirely because she wants the best for you, and she knows you deserve a great night. And she will do anything to get it. Don't ever forget that. Don't ever forget that, and thank her a lot.
Thank you.
All right. So, most people get a little nervous when public speaking, me included. But I get more comfortable and I talk longer when I really know my topic. So for those of you in the living room, get comfortable. And for those of you on the Zoom, crack a beer. This is going to take a while. As with many of our bar mitzvah boys, our story starts at Rhys's bris. Everyone was so impressed, especially the moil. I promise it's my only urology joke. But in all honesty, the impressive thing was what a good baby Rhys was. He was calm, unflappable, and he played to the crowd. And that lasted about 5 minutes. The next year was torture, crying, screaming, inconsolable. Friends who hadn't had kids yet came over to meet you. It set them back and made them question whether the baby thing was worth the hassle. We hired the Mary Poppinses of the world to fix you, but no luck. By the end of the year, with a little time under your belt and some diet changes, the world was introduced to the real Rhys. A kid with a ton of curly hair, loved to laugh, sing, play the drums, and light up the room with a smile. Our story continues with sports. Soccer started, and Stacy and I were thrilled to watch our little guy get out there and compete. He had no interest. He ran around clumsily in circles and smiled, but he didn't give a damn about kicking the ball. His only real highlight was an end-of-season bloody nose, which is fine. He'll do what he wants, no pressure. But Rhys's life was forever changed by one thing at the end of that season: the participation trophy. The way his eyes lit up and he raised that thing in the air like he knocked out Rocky. Now we've got something. His athletic skills improved, and combine that smile with a cutthroat competitor, and the other teams don't know what hit them. You hate him, and you want to kiss him and pinch his cheeks at the same time. Next up was an NHL game. At age 4 or 5, he was glued to the action, not interested in the popcorn or the ice cream, but really engaging in the game. And after watching 60 minutes of hockey that ended in a 0-0 tie, he was hooked. We signed up for lessons, and after Learn to Skate 1, Rhys and the other 3 kids lined up to get their certificates so they could advance to Learn to Skate 2. Each kid skated up to the teacher and came off the ice smiling, except for Rhys. Rhys was crying. Why was he crying? He didn't advance. He needed to repeat the class. At age 4 or 5, he flunked skating. So I don't even know if you remember this, but something tells me deep in there you have a score to settle. We see it in the rink, and we see it on the pitch, and we see it in the classroom. But sports are just a metaphor for who you are as a person. Everybody knows you, knows what you stand for, nothing is hidden, and you leave it all out there. You are a leader, and you have been since pre-K, making sure everyone in your class, or on the ice, oh my God, sorry, or on the pitch, or on the golf course, or whatever you call the lacrosse field, or in our family, you make sure those people know their job and get it done. You have no give up, and somehow in the heat of the moment you find another gear. You don't like to be counted out, and you make it your mission to prove doubters wrong. And you are charming, skating down the ice, prepared to deck someone, grinning from ear to ear. It's It's a pretty big understatement to say that a global pandemic stinks. But I'll be honest, I don't like sharing it. So being forced to quarantine with my best buddy, throw the football on my lawn, and play golf every week. I can think of a lot worse. I'm legitimately flattered when people compare the two of us. But I think you are really the mix of two raspy-voiced, skinny, athletic overachievers with giant personalities. Your great-grandpa Abe and your Poppy Stewart. They'd be awfully proud of you today. So, to the kid who didn't smile once during his first year but hasn't stopped since, to the kid who asked for a Vitamix blender on his 10th birthday, to the kid who kicks my butt in ping pong every night, to the kid who created the Burnett Hill word nerd and made it hip, to the kid who is somehow more passionate and loyal to Detroit sports than his dad, to the kid who sees the play before it happens, and to the kid who is cool enough to handle his weird name. Welcome to the world of adulthood. So you're going to score some game winners and you're going to spend some time in the penalty box. But if you attack the rest of your life the way you approach the first 12 years, minus that horrible first year, your future is limitless. When the pros get inducted into the Hall of Fame, they cry and they thank their parents for stuff like driving them to practice. I can't wait to get that thank you.
I hope.
But today I want to thank you, Rhys, for lighting up so many people's lives and making the world a better place and a hell of a lot more fun for the rest of us. I love you.
You should hear mine, huh?